the management of Datamatics. Look at the stock price as well today. It's buzzing in trade up more than 4% as of now as well. Now we're joined by Rahul Kanodia, who's the Vice Chairman and CEO at Datamatics, to talk more about in terms of what is the expectation from the company in terms of the outlook going forward, where are they headed in FY24, the revenues, margin guidance. Let's bring on board Rahul. Rahul, very good afternoon and thank you so much for joining in with us this afternoon on ET Now. And I'm going to start by talking about your overall demand. How has that been as of now, especially the digital side, given it was a bit of a considered as a bit of a discretionary and sorts of that on that kind by the client. So what is it that you're expecting in terms of Datamatics, in terms of the overall demand trends?
We are seeing the demand to be quite robust. We're not seeing any slowdown in the pipeline and deal flow. We are seeing a little slowdown in the decision-making cycle, but not in the deal flow. The demand for digital, in fact, is increasing with all the economic pressure that you have, and with the advent of AI, which is really, on a very high hype cycle right now. Everybody is looking at implementing more digital and more AI in their offerings.
Hi Rahul, this is Anish also joining in the conversation. Talk to me specifically about BFSI vertical, because of course for you also it forms an important part of the business, and earlier that was the weakest link. Is there any sign of improvement there?
Yeah, as I said, we've not seen any slowdown. It is at an industry level a little soft. However, as far as Datamatics is concerned, we're not seeing any slowdown, and we see an equally robust pipeline and deal flow.
Okay, also could you just talk to me on the robotic process automation? How is the order inflow there and what is the traction there as well?
The order inflow is increasing quite rapidly. The traction is also very good. So we're seeing more and more larger deal sizes and, of course, many more deals. So we're extremely hopeful and positive about the current scenario that we see in the market. The interactions with the client has been very promising.
Sure, Rahul, you're sounding fairly positive, not just about the BFSI vertical, the robot process automation vertical as well. But talk to me about client mining, because you had added, almost 14 clients in Q1. How's been the progress in Q2? What kind of client additions and expansions you're seeing?
So roughly we add between 14 to 20 odd clients per quarter. So that run rate continues. As I said, because we are seeing a little slowdown in the decision-making cycle. However, this quarter, I think we are at par with where we were last quarter. So somewhere between 14 to 20 is where we will end up.
Okay, and also, are you on track to achieve the 15% growth with the 16 to 17.5% margin in FY24? Does the guidance remain intact?
Absolutely. We did discuss that at the quarter one, the investor call, and right now we continue to remain on track with that projection.
Okay, Rahul, so the guidance remain intact. You're still targeting at least a 15% growth in FY24. And you have been talking about how you're not seeing a major slowdown, but talk to me about the deal pipeline as well, because you hinted that there's a bit of delay in decision making. What does it do to the pipeline and also pricing for that matter?
So the deal pipeline from the previous quarter, Q4 to Q1, went up by 35%. And from year-on-year basis, we went up almost 60%. So the deal pipeline is extremely strong. We continue to get a very good inflow of new deals. So I'm very confident that we will manage that growth rate that we're talking about. The margins also remain very healthy. And in fact, the margins are improving. So I think we should be on a good wicket.
Sure, your margins are improving, expecting a healthy growth rate as well. Your strategies and outlook, what is that going forward in terms of acquisitions, expansion plans, and anything in terms of a new geography that you would be looking at?
So the deal pipeline that has increased, about 60% of the growth has come from the US and Europe markets, and about 40% from India and Middle East. So our strategy of focusing on the Western world is paying off. The deals are increasing in that market. I don't see any slowdown. The margins remain good. The pricing, I don't see a pricing pressure, because inflation is really hurting the Western world, and they're now getting used to higher cost structures, and therefore we don't see any margin pressures coming in.
Okay, Rahul, so fairly positive on growth, on margins, and the deal pipeline is robust. On that optimistic note, we'll let you go. Thanks so much for making time and speaking with DT now. Quickly, let's pull up the stock of KRBL.